At the bottom of the sea, he discovered a bag. Peering inside, he was severely shocked. Something will find its way to you if it is genuinely meant to be. In this particular circumstance, this was the case. The pocketbook was found in the peaceful setting of Lake Hartwell, South Carolina, after it had been taken 25 years earlier. Brody Brooks, a young child, set out on an adventure that promised to be more than simply the excitement of a successful catch. Brody accompanied his uncle Ben Myers and a group of experienced fishermen, armed with a new fishing rod and a present that glittered with the promise of unexplored waters. There was a type of excitement in the air that could only be found on a fishing excursion. While the sun was dancing, the group fell into their pattern on the soft lake waves, their banter and laughing blending in with the sounds of the natural world. Glowing with anticipation, Brody gripped his rod, the object of his just discovered passion. Even though he was the youngest person there, he had the same level of excitement as the most seasoned fishermen. The men traded anecdotes and slung shade at each other as the day dragged on. Ever the mentor, Ben maintained a close eye on Brody, giving advice and support. Brody learned patience throughout the wait for a catch, but each passing second brought him one step closer to his ideal capture. Then something unexpected occurred. Brody's rod twitched abruptly, indicating a catch after it had been still and patient before. Enthusiasm swept through the group as Ben went to help his nephew right away. Brody was finally entering the fraternity of fishers at this moment, something he had been longing for. But it soon became apparent that this was no typical catch as they brought the line in. Instead of the shimmering fish they had expected, what surfaced from the depths was a leathery, wet handbag. The group's curiosity peaked as they lapsed into a startled stillness. This was not the prize they had anticipated, but it had its own charm and mystery that needed to be discovered. Excitement overshadowing his first disappointment, Brody examined the handbag with a mixture of wonder and apprehension. The relic was out of time and place, and its existence in the lake was as puzzling as it was enthralling. The tattered brown handbag held memories of years spent immersed in Lake Hartwell's murky depths. The men gathered around as they opened it, their fishing trip taking an unexpected turn. Within, they discovered remnants of a past existence, pictures, their hues diminished by time and moisture, yet retaining whispers of unspoken tales. Additionally, there were private belongings like lipstick tubes and a teasing comb, the meaning and purpose of which are still a mystery. The fishing expedition became an investigation into the past when the purse was found. Each item in the time capsule's contents revealed something about the owner of the bag. Ben, who has a strong bond with the lake and its past, understood the significance of their discovery. It was more than simply a break in their fishing, it was a connection to a tale that spanned several decades and was interwoven with the background of Lake Hartwell. The men recognized as the day was coming to an end that their fishing excursion had evolved into a voyage of exploration. The soaked pocketbook was more than simply an item that was found in the lake, it was evidence of how memories endure and the surprising ways in which they come back to haunt the present and evoke the past. Ben Meyer lived in a quiet, rural South Carolina town, and there was a sense of mystery in the living room. Ben, an experienced angler with an excellent sense of detail, sat studying the pictures that had been ruined by the water dot taken from the freshly found handbag. His nephew Brody Brooks stood next to him, watching carefully, still in shock from the bizarre events of the previous day. The fading yet sad photos showed faces from a different period, silently recalling a time long since lost to the depths of Lake Hartwell. Ben saw a certain photo while they were going through the contents. It was a familiar face, a face from his own history that roused long-forgotten memories and associations. He was struck by a wave-like realization. The pocketbook and its contents were not merely lake artifacts, they were pieces of someone's life that had been suddenly separated and lost to time. Ben had to take action because of the seriousness of the finding. He was aware that the authorities should handle this, a mystery that went deeper than the limits of their fishing trip. Brody went with him to the local police station, making sure the contents of the purse were kept safe. Ben described his discovery to the station's personnel, who listened to him with rapt attention as the pictures acted as mute witnesses to the events that were taking place. The police were just as fascinated by the case as Ben and Brody were, and the inquiry quickly took form. Their search into the purse's past was led by the face in the pictures, which served as a lighthouse. Soon after, April Bolt's name surfaced, becoming a mysterious thread in the fabric of this mystery. April's narrative constituted a unique time capsule. She had been at a picnic back in 1992 beside Lake Hartwell. The day was filled with happiness and companionship, but it was ruined when the purse vanished without explanation. Not only did she recall the bewilderment and sense of loss, but she also recalled the treasured keepsakes it contained, personal objects and pictures of loved ones, each of which carried a piece of her life's journey. The death had cast a pall over her existence, an unfinished business that gnawed at her memory. Ben and Brody realized the significance of their discovery as they heard the cops piece together April's account. The purse was more than just a forgotten item, it was a container for forgotten memories and unsolved queries. April had accepted the past for a long time, and it represented the depths of the lake, which are currently making a surprising comeback. The exhilaration of solving a decades-long mystery coexisted with a sense of respect for the past in the police station. Ben and Brody found that the experience went beyond the excitement of fishing. It was an exploration of the core of a narrative that linked their lives to April's. It served as a warning of how historical repercussions may still have an impact on the present, adding finality and a feeling of continuity to the mosaic of human experiences. The atmosphere in April Bolt's comfortable, well-lit living room was one of incredulity and nostalgia. April, who was currently in her late 40s, watched in awe and amazement as she was holding the freshly found handbag, a physical reminder of her past that she had long since banished to the back of her mind. At first, the call from the police telling her about the pocketbook that Ben Myers and his nephew had discovered had felt like a fantasy. Every object she carefully sorted through brought back a wave of memories. The handbag was more than simply a misplaced item, it served as a window into her early years, and the events and people who had influenced her path. She ran her fingers over the photos that were ruined by the water, and a sad grin came over her face. Her son as a newborn was there, in those fading pictures, his innocent stare a powerful reminder of the short time that moment. The surroundings dimmed around her, and she was suddenly transported back in time to the summer of 1992. There was a lot of laughter and the smell of grilled burgers in the air at the raucous picnic at Lake Hartwell. The sun shining off the lake and the warmth of friends and family were two of the things that April, a young mother at the time, remembers most vividly about that happy day. However, the day had taken a surprising turn. Her handbag had disappeared, a shadow across the beautiful day, having been left unattended for an instant. More than simply a little inconvenience, the loss of the handbag meant that memories of her infant son, priceless heirlooms, and sentimental belongings were out of her life in an instant. Rewind right now. With tears in her eyes, April tightly gripped the pictures. These were shards of a past that she had believed was lost forever, not simply pictures. Even though her kid had grown and seen many changes, these pictures will always show him in his formative years. Having these pictures back in her possession again had an enormous emotional weight, providing a physical link to a part of her life she had previously believed to be closed forever. With its water-stained contents and aged leather, the pocketbook symbolized a piece of her past fitting back into place. It served as a reminder of how unforeseen events in life may bring about happy times, painful times, and ultimately reconciliation. As she related the tale in the company of friends and family, the purse came to represent the enduring power of memories and how they might reemerge, bringing closure and a wave of emotions with them. In the stillness of her house, encircled by the ghosts of a bygone era, April came to understand that finding her purse wasn't just about getting back an item she had misplaced. It was also about reestablishing a connection with a part of herself she had assumed had vanished with the passage of time, and the poignant realization that some things, no matter how far they drift, eventually find their way back home. A light wind whispered among the people gathered at a picturesque location next to Lake Hartwell, a mixture of recognizable faces and curious onlookers newcomers. They had come together not for a traditional lakeside party, but rather because of a wonderful yarn that had quickly spread across the community, the story of April Bolt's long-lost purse, which Ben Myers and his nephew Brody Brooks had discovered by chance. April stood in the middle of the group, the waters that had kept her a secret for so many years reflected in her eyes. The neighborhood all the years she spent wondering what happened to her pocketbook and how it vanished. The pictures of her small son that she held up while she talked eventually came to represent the unrelenting passage of time. It's not just about what was lost and found, she thought. It's about what these moments represent in our lives. Ben and Brody, standing silently to the side, had changed their perceptions of what might be achieved by a straightforward act of fishing. After fishing all his life, Ben discovered a deeper connection with the lake he had assumed he knew so well. He explained to the assembly how the finding had changed his outlook and transformed an ordinary excursion into a voyage through time. Brody's youthful eyes widened in awe of it all, taking in the surroundings. The incident had given him a renewed appreciation for the secrets and past of the lake and the people in his immediate vicinity. Every catch had a tale, some deeper than others, he discovered. A patchwork of feelings, including astonishment, nostalgia, and a common sense of amazement, characterized the community's response. April's handbag narrative, a tale of grief, healing, and the surprising ways life may surprise us, turned into a local legend. As they shared a collective memory that would be recalled for years to come, it strengthened the bonds among the group. The crowd parted as the evening wore on, leaving April, Ben, and Brody near the water's edge. They felt a feeling of closure in the quiet that followed. April had received more than just tangible items back from the handbag. It had also evoked memories and provided answers to lingering questions. It served as a reminder to Ben and Brody that remarkable stories might be found every day, ready to be unearthed from beneath the surface. The emotion was echoed by the ripples in the lake, serving as a constant reminder of the lasting influence of common experiences and the permanent bonds they build within a community.